You're good.
All right, welcome everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is the 17th of September, 2024. And this is the Finance Administration Committee and a special meeting of the Board of Directors of the West Bay Municipal Water District. So with that, we will determine if we have a quorum. General Manager Caldwell, if you could do a roll call.
To do so. Director Harold Williams. Here. Chairman Scott Houston.
Here.
Director Gloria Gray. Director
Here.
Gray.
Here, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello,
Director.
thank you.
Director Alvarez. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, great, thank you. Public comment. Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak?
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any requests for public comment for today's meeting, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there are any members of the public who would like to make public comment, please indicate so now by raising your virtual hand. And Mr. Chairman, I do not see a request.
Okay, very good. Let's see, presentations. We have no presentations today. Move forward to action calendar. So item 5A, which is approval of minutes. EJ, if you could lead that item.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I will be happy to lead that item, but before we jump into the calendar today, the agenda, I think you might see a few new faces, some people that you've seen over the past month or two, but I thought that it might be helpful to just do a few quick introductions. First and foremost, we have Stephen Hurt, who's joining West Basin's team. We've been in search of a records management professional for some time, and we're very pleased to have Stephen join us. He brings a wealth of experience, and having had a chance to meet with them, I know that we have a sound plan as far as getting on track with our records management. So I'm very excited about that. And then secondly, we do have Stephanie Clemente Finley, our supervisor of finance, joining our team. Again, I know that you probably had a chance to see her. I think she presented last month. Right? No, I thought so. But she's joining us. And then, of course, we have Stephanie Soto. And so she's the newest, or I guess the entry-level finance staff member, and we are excited to have people as they work through our system, learn and grow in their profession. And so we're very excited about these three joining West Basin. Perhaps they should have been introducing them in the past month or so, but happy to have everybody here.
Well, very good. Thank you. Welcome. So now 2 Stephanies in the finance department. That's going to be fun, right? And it was Stephen.
Steve, yes.
What's your last name?
First, Hurst.
Great. Well, welcome. Definitely. I know we were waiting to get that position filled for some time. I'm glad that we are, getting a full complement in our position. So thank you.
So with that, I'm happy to jump into our action calendar, item 5A. It's the approval of minutes, which begins on packet page 4. And for this presentation, we have Desiree Quintero, our manager of administration.
Good morning, members of the committee and board. As EJ mentioned, approval of minutes can be found beginning on packet page 4.
You can start the meeting now.
The minutes for the West Basin Municipal Water District Board of Directors meetings are an integral part of the public meeting process. Minutes provide a history of the actions taken at board meetings, which is informative not only for members of the public, but for other stakeholders as well. Minutes for the August 26, 2024 regular board meeting have been attached for consideration and can be found beginning on packet page 6. With that, I would like to read the recommendation that the board approve the August 26, 2024 regular board meeting minutes. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Desiree. So any questions on the minutes? Dr. William.
I approve.
All right. Anybody else have questions on the minutes? I don't have any questions. So hearing none, I would recommend this goes forward to the board for approval at our monthly meeting. And I heard Director Williams approves as well. So you concur, right? Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have item 5B as in boy. Consider sponsorship for fiscal year 24-25 community outreach events, and there are 2. EJ.
Yes, thank you. This item begins on packet page 12. And for these items, we do have Hazel Vasquez, our Deputy Board Secretary.
Jay, good morning, Chairman Houston, members of the committee and board. As EJ mentioned, item 5B begins on packet page 12, and there are two items for your consideration today. So the first I have is AYSO and Little League Baseball District 37 are hosting their 24th annual Special Needs Friendship Festival on Saturday, October 19th. Director Gray requests consideration for West Basin to sponsor this event in the amount of $2,500, which would grant West Basin a booth/table to distribute district information, as well as an advertisement promoting district awareness. West Basin has previously sponsored this event, most recently in fiscal year 23-24, in the amount of $3,500. And at that time, we were granted a booth as well as an ad. So the same benefits that we would be getting with this sponsorship, only at a higher cost, this time around at $1,000 less. For more information regarding this particular sponsorship request, you can turn your attention to packet page 14 for attachment A. The next item for your consideration, the Heads Up Foundation is hosting their Undercover Heroes Annual Gala event on Saturday, November 2nd, 2024. Director Gray is requesting consideration for West Basin to sponsor this event in the amount of $3,000, and that would grant West Basin a speaking opportunity for a district representative, a flash table to distribute district information, as well as an advertisement promoting district awareness. West Basin did previously sponsor this event, most recently in fiscal year 23-24, in the same amount of $3,000. And at the time, we received an opportunity for a speaking opportunity, and an advertisement. Additional information regarding this year's request is included as attachment B on packet page 18. And so just to reiterate the budget for this program, we do have $75,000 budgeted for the fiscal year 24-25 community outreach sponsorships. Approving the sponsorships presented to you today, which total $5,500, that would leave a remaining budget of $49,400. And for details on that, or a breakdown on that, is look at page 22, and that's attachment C. And so with that, I'd like to read the recommendation, and you can find that on packet page 13. Number one, Director Gray recommends that the board consider sponsoring the AYSO Little League 24th Annual Special Needs Friendship Festival event scheduled to be held on Saturday, October 19, 2024, in the amount of $2,500. And number two, Director Gray recommends that the board consider sponsoring the Heads Up Foundation Undercover Heroes Annual Gala event scheduled to be held on Saturday, November 2nd, 2024, in the amount of $3,000. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you very much, Hazel. So any questions? Dr. Williams?
No, thank you.
Comment here.
Sure, Director Gray, go ahead.
Thank you. I just want to say that these two requests for sponsorship, all organizations are very important. And you can see the special needs one and the other one is certainly a community event. So I really recommend that the committee really consider supporting them. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Well, I personally think that we should support both of these. I also see at these levels, we get a boost at both of these, which I think is very important. And we've supported them in the past. So I think we should move it forward with the recommendation of yes. Director Williams?
Concur.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you, Director Gray. So the next item is,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. 5C is in CAT, consider fiscal year 24-25 district sponsorship requests. And we have 5 of those. So EJ, if you would introduce that item to us, please.
Yes, thank you. This item begins on packet page 23. And for the presentation, we do have Carla Hewitt, our executive assistant.
Yeah, we will be presenting the 5 items received for district sponsors for consideration. 2 of these items are for events West Basin has previously sponsored, and 3 of those are first-time events for the district in terms of sponsorship. First, we have Moonlight on the March. Director Houston is requesting consideration of sponsorship of Moonlight on the March organized by Friends of the Bayana Wetlands. This event will take place on Saturday, October 5th, from 5:30 to 7 at the Center Point Club in Playa Vista. Just a note that this is the same day of our water harvest event, although this event happens much later in the day. Moonlight on the March is an annual fundraiser for restoration and educational programs. And this year offers sponsorship opportunities ranging from $25,000 to $1,500. Director Houston's recommendation is to consider a $1,500 sponsorship for this event, which grant the district 4 tickets to the event and add individual tribute journal and recognition in all digital marketing materials. West Basin has previously sponsored this event at $1,500 last fiscal year, and further details can be found on page 28 of the packet on attachment A. Next, we have the Climate Justice Conference. For this event, Director Bray is requesting consideration of $2,500 sponsorship of the Climate Justice Conference organized by California Greenworks, a nonprofit organization. This event will take place on Tuesday, October 15th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the California State University Dominguez Hills campus in Carson. This is a free event, and sponsorships range from $30,000 to $2,500. At this time, again, Director Gray is requesting consideration of $2,500 sponsorship, which could grant us logo exposure on all marketing and signage and social media highlighting. As an additional opportunity, California Greenworks is open to give West Basin a booth at no additional cost for this event. Now, this is something that the district has not previously sponsored before, but last year we did support the GW Carver Environmental Legacy Awards with a director sponsorship, also in the amount of $2,500, and this was an event organized by the same agency or organization. Further details can be found on attachment B in page 31 of the agenda packet. Next, we have the Water Revolution Symposium. The district received a request to consider sponsorship of this event organized by the Council for Watershed. This event will also happen on Tuesday, October 15th from 8:30 to 5 p.m. at the Carson Event Center. This is a paid event with tickets ranging from $150 to $100. And this is a forum to discuss changes, challenges, and opportunities arising from large-scale potable reuse projects, mainly targeting those becoming familiar with recycled water, including community-based organizations and elected officials from stakeholder communities. Sponsorships range from $25,000 to $3,000, but the organizers are welcoming of custom amounts under $3,000. A sponsorship of $3,000 would give the district one registration, complimentary listing in website, promo materials, event signage, and the PDF program. And should we decide to consider a sponsorship under $3,000, then that would grant the district exposure in the sponsored slide during the event, the website, and the PDF program. More details on this event can be found on attachment C on page 41 of the agenda. Next, we have the Aqua Fall Conference and Expo taking place at the JW Marriott Desert Springs Resort and Spa in Palm Desert from December 3rd to December 5th, 2024. There's not really a request or an invitation to sponsor this event from the organizers at this point, but it's an opportunity that's available to us every year that has been considered in the past by this committee and the board. Sponsorships for this year range from $15,000 to $1,000. And at this time, we're seeking feedback from this committee regarding district participation and a dollar amount recommendation for a potential sponsorship if the committee decides to do so. We have previously sponsored this event in years 2022 and 2023 at $6,500 and $3,000 respectively. We also support their spring conference annually, most recently with a $1,000 sponsorship. And this is an organization that we are members of So we do pay them annual membership fees as well. Details for this event can be found on attachment B in page 45 of the agenda packet. And last, we have a request from Director Alvarez for the City and County Engineers Association of Los Angeles. This organization is celebrating 100 years of existence with a special program happening on Saturday, December 7th. It's an evening celebration beginning at 5 p.m. At the California Institute of Technology's Atheneum in Pasadena. Event sponsorships range from $10,000 to $2,500. Table sponsorships are also available for $4,500 for 10 guests each table. Director Alvarez is requesting consideration of a $10,000 sponsorship, which would include a full table for the event, the opportunity to give a 2-minute toast at the cocktail hour, would sponsor the dinner entertainment. It's a pianist that will give a concert during the event. The district would also present the scholarship award and would be featured in a full-page piece in the event program. Members of the City and County Engineers Association of Los Angeles include Los Angeles County engineers currently employed by or retired from a city, a special district, the county, or the state. And it's my understanding that West Basin has 2 past presidents within its ranks in Director Alvarez and Director Williams. Details for this event can be found on attachment B on page 50 of the agenda packet. For the fiscal impact of all these requests, if I could please turn your attention to page 52. We have, there it is. To date, the district has allocated $13,000 out of $55,000 available in sponsorship funds for the fiscal year. This is roughly a quarter of the budget, so 24%. Events being considered this month could potentially represent an additional $20,000. So that's 36% in addition to the 24% that I was referring, pending obviously committee and board feedback. And similarly, based on information from the previous fiscal year, we anticipate receiving requests for events the district has historically supported, potentially adding up to $18,000, so about 33% more. So where that would leave us for any new requests for events we may have not sponsored in the past is about 7%, which is $4,000. So those are just some numbers to assist the committee with their review. And with that, I will read the recommendation. Director Houston recommends that the board consider approving sponsorship of the Moonlight of the March event to be held at the Centerpoint Club in Playa Vista on Tuesday, October 5th, 2024, in the amount of $1,500. Director Gray recommends that the board consider approving sponsorship of the Climate Justice Conference to be held at the California State University Dominguez Hills campus on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, in the amount of $2,500. That the board consider approving sponsorship of the Water Revolution Symposium to be held at the Carson Event Center on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, and determine the appropriate sponsorship level for the event. That the board consider approving sponsorship of the 2024 Aquapole Conference to be held at the JW Marriott Desert Springs Resort and Spa Home Desert from Tuesday, December 3rd to Thursday, December 5th, and determine the appropriate sponsorship level for the event. And Director Alvarez recommends that the board considers approving sponsorship of the City and County Engineers Association's 2024 Installation of Officers and Centennial Recognition to be held on Saturday, December 7, 2024, in the amount of $10,000. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
I have a question.
Let's do, well, go ahead. What's your question?
Items C1 refers to the date as Tuesday, October 5th. Item C2 and C3 refers to those dates as Tuesday, October 15th. Can't be. There's 10 days apart. That should be 7 days apart. There's something wrong there.
I think it's
One of them can't be on Tuesday.
Probably Saturday, huh?
And that's an easy fix.
Oh, yeah,
Good catch.
Look at the
Thank you.
calendar, get the right date on it.
I apologize for that.
Good catch. Okay, here's what I'd like to do. I want to go through these one by one. We can talk about them each, make it most efficient. So the first one is the Moonlight on the Marsh, which we've supported them for many years. And this is the same amount we've done in the past. As well as, Director Little was a big friend of the Friends of Iona as well. So I think this one should be pretty easy, if you will. Director Williams, do you concur? Do $1,500 on that one?
I'll do.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. And by the way, Director Gray usually has co-sponsored that with me in the past. So we both are big supporters of friends. Thank you. And then number two, Director Gray, the $2,500 for the Climate Justice Conference. I'm okay with that. Director Williams, what do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. We have two items that we concur on. Director Gray, do you want to say anything or you're good with that?
I appreciate that. Just want to mention
Sure.
that I believe that Dr. Adrian Hightower from Metropolitan is either the keynote speaker or he's a moderator of a panel or something there. I saw the flyer, so I thank you for that consideration of supporting that item.
Okay, good, excellent. So item three, this one you kind of left open-ended for us, which is this Water Revolution Symposium. It will be held at the Carson Event Center. So can you just give us a little more details on that, EJ?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And actually, they just sent us an email today. We were aware of this. This is semi-related to the recent study conducted by UCLA. I believe it was the Luskin Center for Innovation when they were talking about DPR and IPR within the region. Right now, they've just announced today that their symposium will include speakers, including Anselmo Collins, Senior Assistant General Manager of LGWP, Barbara Romero, General Manager of Los Angeles Sanitation and Environment, Bruce Resnick, Executive Director, Celeste Rodriguez, the Mayor of the City of San Fernando, Dave Peterson, General Manager of Las Virgenes. Went through here real quick to see Liz Croson, Chief Sustainability, Resilience, and Innovation Officer of Metropolitan Water District, Lula Davis Holmes, the Mayor of the City of Carson, Mark Pastrella, Director of Los Angeles County Public Works, Mike Marcus, retired General Manager of Orange County Water District, and Robert Ferrante, Chief Engineer and Chief Manager of Los Angeles County Sanitation Districts. According to him, he expects to have all of the members of the LA County Sanitation Districts in attendance, which would be representatives for nearly all of our cities and LA County. And then, of course, Rupam Soni, Interim Section Manager for Member Services and Public Outreach. This is an event that we anticipate high attendance at. And of course, it is in the West Basin service area, which is why we brought this to your attention.
Let me ask one other question. You mentioned they would give us a booth. Are these the ones?
That's the Climate Justice Conference.
Well, that was the other one. Okay, the other one gives us the booth at even the lowest level. So this one, I see for the lowest amount, we get one registration included, there's a listing on the website, things like that. There's not an ad, there's not a booth, any of this stuff, but I would be inclined for the lowest level, $3,000. I don't know what you think, Director Williams.
What do we get for 3,000?
We get one free registration, listing in the web, promotional materials, event signage on the day of the event, and for a logo to be featured in the PDF program. The event.
Should get at least 2 seats.
No, two. We could look at 5,000.
Yeah, I would
We get an ad for 5,000.
support that.
I'm okay with that. Anybody else have any thoughts or questions, considerations? Director Deere, you're okay with that? Director Gray?
I'm okay, thank you.
So let's do that. We'll recommend the $5,000 level, so it gets 2 registrations. We also get a quarter-page ad and all the listings and promotions. And I'm fine with that. So with that, Director Williams and I concur. So that's number. What number was that? 3? Okay. Number 4, this is the Aqua Conference. Which page does that start on? I got all these papers everywhere. Let's see here. Page 45? Okay. So I'm torn between the 1,000 or 3,000, which is similar to what we've done in the past. On the 3,000, we do get a complimentary registration. So should a staff person or a board member go, at least we've got one covered already.
Yes, Aqua benefits are cumulative, so they just add up how much we have supported with in terms of sponsorship throughout the year. And then based on that, we are given a complimentary registration for a future event. So it's sort of like delayed a year in a way. And the minimum amount in a year to be able to receive that is 4,000. We have already supported their spring conference with 1,000, so yeah, 3,000 would give us one complimentary registration.
So what do you think, Director Williams?
Good.
For 3,000 or 1,000?
As long as we get at least 2 seats. 2
Well, if we want to, we got to go to 6,500, which I think is a little steep, to be honest.
Just as a reference, if it helps, the cost to attend this event for at the member rate, which we are members, is $899.
$899.
Mhm.
So even if we do one at 3,000, we get one, plus we buy a ticket for $899, it's still under $6,500.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm sure, to be honest with you, probably there might be 3 or 4 or 5 people from staff and board going out there at some point with that. But on the sponsorship side, I mean, what do you think, Director Williams?
Well, if we can afford it, I think we should.
Okay, well, we can recommend 6,500. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. All right, let's do that. Okay, so we'll recommend $6,500, EJ, for that one. And obviously, if anybody has an issue, they can pull it at the board meeting.
Yeah. So where's Aqua?
This year's desert be in
Palm Desert.
the Palm Desert. Yeah, in that early December or?
Yeah, so they are a little bit behind schedule. They've had some staffing challenges, and just a fun fact, it overlaps with the CRUA conference this year. So they're going to be happening. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to Crua this year.
Either
Part of
mine.
that's because this is gonna be overlapping and I might have something else to do too, so I'm, just, it is what it is. It's too bad, but, anyway, so this will be the focus.
Of water we're gonna bringing attention to this
Mr.
wonderful.
Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
Hi.
Director Gray, go ahead. Go ahead.
hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm not traveling at all.
yes. Can you explain again what the $6,500 sponsorship would give us?
Sure,
$6,500.
yes.
What will it give us? At what level?
Director Gray, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm gonna read, so $6,500 or above, but under 10,000 would qualifies us as a gold sponsor level for Aqua. These gives sponsors special identification on their name, badges at conferences. We are acknowledged as sponsors with a specific sponsor level in Aqua News. We are listed on the Aqua website with a link to our own portal. We receive logo signage with the sponsorship, recognition as sponsoring the conference mobile app, company logo displayed on media presentation during the fall conference. We received a pre and post conference attendee mailing list. We received sponsorship level recognition on banners at the event. And we received 2 complimentary registrations to be used for either the spring or fall conferences in 2025.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. Thank you. So any other questions? I think Director Williams now recommends $6,500. Okay, very good. Let's see, the last one, number 5. The Director Alvarez recommends $10,000 for this event. And let's open it up. What do you think, Director Williams?
Oh, I think we should go for it like right now.
Engineers?
This may be
Wow.
this is the first time, and it could be the last time that you'll ever get a request like this from the water, members of the water board. I think this is the first time that you've had 2 engineers who have served on the board of the City and County Engineers Association. And we're still alive.
Physically.
Well, you know, had it not been for William Mulholland, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Right? None of us. We'd be somewhere else, but not here.
Self-taught engineer.
Yeah, so, and then here you have 2 of your leaders who have led the City and County Engineers Association. So I think this would be a tremendous honor for us to be in the records, not only as serving as presidents and board members of the City and County Engineers Association back in the early days of yesteryear, but we will be listed as members. So I think that it would be worth our while to do this, because support of this will show that we've had support for the water industry on like forever, right? Hello? Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I would just add that I did have a chance to speak with President Desi Alvarez. He did ask that I could just say a few words. This is one of, I believe, the oldest organizations of its kind. He mentioned, obviously, Director Williams and his participation in the past. And he believes that this is a good recommendation to be very engaged and involved in this organization. So with that, I think Director Williams said everything else.
Very good.
Recommend. I support the staff recommendation or the board member recommendation.
Very good. Anybody else? Questions, thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's too high. 10,000 is higher than our normal giveaway. And I would have normally, if I had a vote, would have done a Desi vote. I have no votes, so I went to the board meeting.
Okay. Director Gray.
It's just interesting and great that Director Alvarez is considering supporting a sponsorship. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't usually, does it?
No.
Okay, so I am in concurrence with multiple things have been said up here, because this is a bit of a shock that Director Alvarez has brought this to us at this level, quite frankly. But on the other hand, I think Director Williams made a very compelling argument. And so with that, I will move forward with the recommendation too, that we'll look at this at the $10,000 sponsorship level. EJ?
Okay.
And as you see, we get a number of great benefits to this, which also means that, our two members will be on the spot as well, getting an opportunity to host a toast and some other things. So I think that's really good for all of us, but also it's a great organization and it does come once in 100 years. Right? So, so I'm okay with it. So with that, and well, number one, Director Williams already said it. So we concur, right, Director Williams?
Yes.
Number two, with the numbers that we just ballparked, if those got approved, how much will be left?
For new requests,
Yes.
we have depleted our funds. And if you would like some information on like the events that are done, which we historically support that, I'm happy to offer that. We have about $4,000 left for new requests in what was left of the fiscal year. And that was considering 3,000 for Aqua and 3,000 perhaps for Water Reuse Symposium, or Water Revolution Symposium, I'm sorry. The recommendation from the committee was 5,000 and 6,500. So that was a little bit over what I had personally accounted in my estimates. And so that would essentially cover the $4,000 that were left for new requests. And we still have funds in the budget. It would just be a matter of the committee providing guidance on how would that impact future events, requests that we receive for future events.
Mr. Chairman,
Completely confused.
I was just gonna maybe add a little bit of information. So what staff is doing is we're looking at what we project out to be the sponsorships for district-wide sponsorships throughout the year. And so we basically go through and we try to create a budget knowing that we're going to get requests all throughout the year. What Carla just mentioned is that there would be no more money for new events. So assuming that we would sponsor the things that we typically do year in and year out, there would be no additional funds if somebody were to come through and like these couple today, those are things that we've not done in the past. So we would continue to plan for requests throughout the year. We'd bring those to the board, but the way it projects out, we wouldn't have additional funds for new requests.
Okay, very good. So back to this. So right now we have $42,000 in this budget remaining, correct? But then if we authorize what all the numbers we just gave you are, how much will we have left?
We would have 16,500.
16,500 for the rest of the fiscal year. That's basically what I was getting at. I know that obviously with this, one of these is a huge one-off. Okay. And then with that, so I also think we'll be cognizant too, that yes, should some new requests come up or some things come through, we may tweak a number of what we normally give, and or we can always adjust our budget accordingly. So I also, we're doing something very out of the ordinary on the 10,000 on the one hand, but that does not prevent us from entertaining things should they come to us between now and June. So, and right now we're within budget. So there you go. Right. Okay. I think we've discussed this enough. Is there anybody have any other questions or comments? Director Gray?
Hi, thank you. Just a comment. Have we ever considered kind of a cap on what our consideration of sponsorships may be at this level? I mean, I know there are certain things that we sponsor each year that are within the general budget, I believe, like at 10,000 and more level. So have we considered maybe capping what we do at the committee level and then maybe doing something else with higher requests? Just thinking about the 10,000 that was requested, I think that's kind of the most that I've heard a request that I can recall. So just a comment and just a thought.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Maybe the
Director
GM
Gray.
Yeah, maybe
What was
the
that?
GM can comment. Maybe the GM can comment on that if we've ever, it's just the highest level we've ever done and kind of what I just said in terms of other sponsorships. Thank you.
EJ, do you have any comment on that?
I would have to go back and look. Obviously, West Basin gets a lot of requests. I know that in the past, we funded a movie premiere because it was focused in and dedicated towards water. I know that we've sponsored some events at higher levels, but I would need to go back and look historically to see what that amount might be.
Well, I think it's a valid comment, Director Gray. I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to see a cap on things that we would consider because us just discussing it at the committee and ultimately at the board level, that is the cap, right? So whatever we decide, that's what we decide. And folks bring things to us with different numbers. And we work with them on that. And sometimes we actually get more out of it. For example, someone sometimes will give us a boost, even though it wasn't part of the package. So I guess the way I look at it is, you know, each of the committee meetings and the board meetings, when they get put before us, that's our opportunity to decide as a collective what we want to do. And I think for now that seems to work. You know, and obviously if directors pull items or vote for them or against them per month, that's what we've done. And so, you know, I think policy wise, that's how we roll.
Yeah, just additional comment. I was really just looking at whether or not those big ticket item sponsorship could be considered at more the general budget level and our budget rather than it impacting what we do at our level. So that was kind of the idea.
Oh, I get you. I get you. And well, as far as I'm concerned with these particular items, the good thing is these come out of the district sponsorship budget because they're all water related. So they're not coming out of the individual director's budget. So, you know, these are kind of across the board, which good in my opinion. So, thank you. Well, with that, EJ, you have that all in
Yes, we
writing
do.
from us. So these all go on the consent calendar, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So I want to say thank you to staff because usually we don't have this many in one meeting, but that's how it is sometimes. So thank you for this. Now let's get to the business, which is our financial situation. So information calendar item 6A, quarterly debt report.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this item begins on packet page 53. For this presentation, we have Wendy Nakamura, our Chief Financial Officer.
Good afternoon, directors. As requested required by West Basin debt policy, staff is required to submit quarterly debt report to the directors. Please turn to page 55. So on page 55, for fiscal year 2024, West Basin has paid off with $20.9 million interest plus principal. And at the end of fiscal year 2024, we still have $178,000 principal outstanding. West Basin currently do not have any plan to issue new debt. The board just approved the $30 million line credit as a backup. So those going to be extended for another 3 years. So that's pretty much conclude the update for the debt.
Can I interrupt for one moment? I think you said 178,000. I think you meant 178 million.
I said 178 million, sorry, yes.
Very good. Any questions? Okay, go ahead. Is
All
that
right, so that's how we'll conclude the debt report.
the debt report? Okay.
Yeah.
So then we'll move into 6B, which is the fiscal year 23-24 actual financial results.
So item 6B, I'm going to be co-presenting this item with my coworker Allison. So we at Finance Department, we just closed fiscal year 2024. So today we are going to give the board a brief or summary about what the financial result for fiscal year 2024 on page 58. So let's take a look at the potable water sales and then our potable water revenue. So as you can see on table 1, During the budget season a couple months ago, we had already told the board that, we can see the potable water, demand is decreased over the years, right? So for fiscal year 24, we budget 95,000 acre feet, the total potable water sales. But our actual sales is 83,887. So we're kind of short of 11,000 acre feet of sales for the potable water sales. When we do the fiscal year 24 budget, we are expecting net revenue gain from the selling of potable water of $32.8 million. You know, West Basin adding on the reliability service charge per acre feet to every single acre feet of potable water we sell, right? So we were expecting $32.8 million net revenue from potable water sales, but our actual net income from the selling of potable water is 27.8. So we're kind of $5 million net revenue from water sales. And then on page 58, we're going to take a look at our recycling water revenue and the recycling water expenses, which is recycling water revenue and the expenses is on page 59. In the past few years, we are expecting, due to the aging facility of our recycling water facility, we are expecting the net loss, you know, for the operation result for the recycling water facility. As you can see, the table 2, in fiscal year 24, we budgeted to have a net loss of recycling water operation for 10.6 million. However, in reality, our actual loss is 17.3 million. The reason is, as you can see, the table 3, we budgeted to sell 33,000 acre feet recycling water, but in reality, we only sell the 27,000. Oh, there was a mistake, you know, right, currently on your paper, you see the 22,450. That number needs to be corrected as the 27,496.
27,496.
Right. So then the average cost for FY 24 for our recycling water sales is actually going to be $2,065 $65 per acre feet.
Hold on, so 2,065?
$1,065.
I don't know if the other committee members got that, but table 3, there's 2 typos, Director Williams. You guys will
We are
print
correcting
us a little quick copy that was later. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, so the projection is the recycling water average cost going to be the 1,700-ish, but in reality, you know, right now, in the past year, our average cost per acre feet is about $2,000 per acre feet. Yeah. The investment income, net loss, the investment income, we're doing well, you know, as everyone knows, you know, the federal government right now, the bond, you know, they offer pretty high interest rate, right? So in FY 24, we are the return of our investment account is about a little bit over 5%. Therefore, our actual investment income is 3.7 million instead of budget 2.8. So we're doing well over there. Another West Basin program, which is our water use efficiency conservation program, that is on page number 60. So I just want to point it out, you know, even though we have a net loss of 1.7 million, our total expense is $2 million, including the $1.1 million is West Basin, you know, labor and benefits. So it's basically, you know, it's our staff members' time. So, we already spending about $800,000, participate for the conservation program. And we are actually getting about $400,000 or $500,000 back from the support from MAP and then other water agencies. So, the money we actually spending for conservation program is probably between like 200,000 or something per year for White Basin. Other revenue, we can see like, we do have a $4.4 million construction grant that will coming to us from the California State Water Board. And then we'll have a 2.1 million construction grant also from California State Water Board for the PV lateral. With the $5 million short for the potable water net revenue, and then also additional loss of $7 million for the recycling water operation for FY24. The debt coverage, which is the last table on page 60, table 6, our actual debt coverage for FY24 is 1.27. We budgeted at 1.49. So hopefully, in the next year, since we're budgeted very conservatively, we will see that the coverage number can be improved in the coming year. So that's conclude the general summary of the FY24 operation. And then I will let my colleague Allison to go over the details of each department budget, which is start on page 63.
Very good.
Any questions at the moment, George Williams or anybody else?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, good afternoon. So starting on packet page 63 will be the recycling operations budget. I do want to just let you know that we did update this table a little bit for each program and put labor benefits over to the bottom because that's not something that our team could really control. And so we want to show you what the pro and con were and then labor and the total overall. So again, I want to highlight, we did put some staff comments on the side and label them at the bottom. So you saw that chemicals throughout this whole fiscal year was pretty low. That's also because we did sell less. And so hence why number 4 is a reflection of secondary purchase that we typically would purchase was a little bit lower. But you do notice that for number 3, facility maintenance is significantly higher than what we did budget for. And there's a few factors that did lead to that. We did have a little bit more focus on facility maintenance to optimize our system in this past fiscal year. In addition, we did have an invoice that came in a little bit later from previous year that came in. So we did have to recognize. So if you want to just look at overall the program, it was about 50,779,498 was our total actuals. And our budget for it was about $52,259,000. So it's well within budget overall. And then if you go down a little bit, you'll see our labor was slightly higher than our overall budget. As Wendy mentioned earlier, that we did have really good return investments overall. And we do have 2 pre-funded retirement plans. And every year at the end of the fiscal year, we do have to recognize any gains or loss. And so hence that's why benefits went over. So you'll see a lot of labor and benefits overhead will be higher than budget because we had to recognize.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you because I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So if you look at West Basin labor, benefits, and overhead, it is slightly higher than our overall budget. And that's the reason because we do have 2 pre-funded retirement plans. And every year at the end of our fiscal year, we do have to recognize any gains or lost for the plan.
And because we did have some gains in this past fiscal year, so that's why it's a little bit higher than our overall budget. And so overall, our actuals were about 56.7 million, and our budget was about 57.5. And I'll move on to your packet page 64. Very similar, we did have a sponsorship program, and this sponsorship program is for the water bottle filling station. And so we came in a little bit under than what we did budget. I know staff is still continually reaching out to the community to gauge their interest and continue to give out this grant. So hopefully next year we can get closer. Overall, the program was budgeted for about $415,400, and we did spend about $334,911. Including labor overall, our actual was about 2 million, and our budget was about 1.3 million.
Why is that so, that's a big difference?
So for labor here, again, we did have to recognize the gains for the benefits. But in addition, we did shift some of staff's time over to work more on grants. And so when they work on grants, they can't really capitalize that time, so we have to put it into the program. Good question. Next one would be packet page 65, which is the Public Information and Education Program. Overall, the program was budgeted for $826,800, and we did spend $520,324. And I would like to say that this team has really tried to optimize staff time and utilize all of our existing outreach promotional items. And so we did budget for a lot more to be spent, but we did look back and try to take some purchase of giveaways and optimize all of that. And we did have some staff changes, so there were some programs that were put temporarily on hold while we recruit for those. And overall, including us, the overall budget was about 4.8 million, and we spent about 3.8. Next would be the water use efficiency budget at packet page 66. Here you'll see that our actuals for this fiscal year for 23-24 was 885,881, and our budget was about $1,661,100. One of the key things I do want to point out is probably the line number 2, which is the grass removal program. We did have to come back last July to increase the budget because we were told that we did have a lot of outstanding applications that we were expecting. However, those did not come to pass, and so that's why our budget seems so much higher than our actuals, because we thought we had more outstanding applications. So overall, our budget was about 3.1 million, and we spent about 2 million overall for the water use efficiency budget. And the next one will be the technical planning budget at packet page 67. Here, you'll see that we have consulting costs at 3.3 million, and our actuals about was $209,000. I don't know if you all remember in this budget cycle, when we were putting it together, we expected a lot of contributions from outside agencies to collaborate together to work on multiple feasibility studies. But we did decide to put on hold on a lot of those studies during the fiscal year. This $209,000 really mainly focused on the cost of service study that we did do. So our budget overall, including labor, was about 5.2 million, and we spent about $926,000. And the last operating program before we move to overhead would be the Purveyor Water Quality Monitoring Program on packet page 68. Here you'll see our lab services. We did budget 9,348, and our actuals were 5,831. And that's just due to timing of lab services when they actually bill us, so we can't really recognize costs until they give us the bill. And so hopefully next year they'll bill us on time so we can recognize it in the correct fiscal year. So overall, the program, we did budget about $60,500, and we did spend $26,514. And I can pause here to go back to any of these before I move to the operating.
Any questions on any of these?
No, thank you.
I got a question. And that's the one on water use efficiency, so page 66. And part of it was because we had a vacancy. Item number 3 or whatever. So has that vacancy been filled at this point? It has, okay. Yeah, if I, any others real quick. Let's see. No, I think I'm good for the moment, so. Go ahead.
Promise, I'm almost done with my part.
Okay.
So the next one would be packet page 69, which is your overhead, labor, and benefits overall. So when we talk about overhead, we talk about the staff that you're looking at today, which is the finance team, the contracts team, support services, IT, records, and human resource. And so there are multiple things that we do overall as an overhead program. So one of the first things you'll see is advertising. And what we mean by advertising is advertising for HR for jobs. And so we did have 2 big recruitments. We had our CFO, we have our AGM, and we want to do additional outreach this past year. That's why it's our actuals were greater than our budget overall. And then we had some consultant costs that were actually lower than budget because we were just trying to see if, do we really need to utilize all these consultants? Can we put some projects on hold? So hence why our actuals are a little bit lower. And again, same thing for our software license, because we did have some anticipated implementations that we put on pause for this year. So overall, our budget was about 17.8 million, and we spent about 16.1 overall for our overhead, including labor and benefits. And the last one would be packet page 70, which is for our CIP projects. This is the list overall, how we did for the fiscal year. Your year-to-date actuals does include labor relief at the very bottom. So our annual budget was about 38.8 million, and we spent about 14 million for our CIP. That concludes my.
Very good. Any questions? Any questions, Director Gray?
No questions, thank you.
I've got just a couple, and I think they're pretty easy, but and one is I did notice in our pie team, we've saved a lot of money when it came to advertising and some other things. So obviously we're doing things a little different, which is cost effective on our outreach. So that's really good to see. And being judicious with, of course, all the, the tchotchkes and whatnot, as much as we love all that, but, we got to be cost effective about what we're giving away. So I appreciate that from our staff. I just want to go through a couple things real quick on the opening pages. So starting on page 58 in the very beginning, remind me, in our new budget we adopted, what did we budget for water sales this current cycle?
We budgeted for the potable water supply.
I couldn't remember what the number was. Got it. Okay. Now I remember. So, because I remember we talked a lot about that. So yeah, we had budgeted 95,000 last time. We came in at 83.8.
Yeah.
And so that's why, yes, we went real fiscally conservative on 80 this current one. Okay. Good to know and remember. So let's see. Page 59, you guys already answered the questions. Obviously, we always budget and we know that we're, we operate at a loss in our recycle water program. That's just, it is what it is at this time. So if we go to page 60, and I know you mentioned on the water use efficiency, income and loss, obviously a number of these things we get funding for, but isn't that on the back end of it, right? Don't we sometimes we're expending some of the money and then we get
Reimbursement.
reimbursed, right? Okay, and that's what a lot of this reflects, true? But in the end, we still outlay some of our own money to run those programs, even with the grants and whatnot, right? So I think you mentioned it was about 200,000-ish a year, or at least this last cycle. And the last one is we came in with our debt coverage of 1.27.
Yeah.
And I know we've gone in circles around this number over the years, but what was it that we usually determine was at least a reasonable or a, dare I say, healthy, low number minimum?
Well, I think, during the budget season, the general manager is asking for minimum 1.5, right? Because, our strategic plan, we asked for 1.75.
Hmm.
And then, during budget season, we keep on mentioning like, we want to work towards 1.5, right?
Okay.
So, the 1.27, as you can see, because we're kind of receiving the $5 million from the potable water sales. And then also our recycling water loss, we have $8 million more, $7 or $8 million more loss.
Yep.
Right? So those together is like $13 million. Is really hard to make this number going up if we are not balancing the potable water and the recycling water net income.
Okay. But are we in what's the zone we're in? Are we, if we're at 1.27 this last year?
Yeah, I think our legal requirement right now is 1.2. So we're good. We're 1.27 is a little bit lower. The last year, in the past few years, we can see, our debt coverage continue to decline, right? The year before is 1.36.
Mhm.
And then, this year is 1.27. Well, hopefully, because we budgeted conservatively, next year we can see, our revenue or how we expected is really going to come in as we expected,
Yeah.
right?
That's kind of what I was getting at. So, we're still doing all right.
Still doing all right.
We're not in a panic mode. We shouldn't be, but I know that obviously as we go into our next budget cycle and fiscal, discussions, we have to be obviously figuring this out.
Yes.
And then the last thing is the paragraph right above that was the other revenues. So we did collect this already. Is that right?
We're not
waiting.
yet, not yet.
Okay.
We send our application asking for it,
Okay.
but we have not receiving it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're expecting $4.4 million. Is that, what am I?
Yeah, the $4.4 million is the Carson Phase 2 program.
Yep.
Those are from state of California.
Right. So those are two grant
Yeah.
checks, but we haven't received them yet. When do we get those? Is it after we close out the projects or how does that work?
For PV lateral is, right now, we're waiting for the project to be closed out because, it says we only it's reimbursable request. So we have to finish the project. And the same thing with the Carson Phase 2 is based on the reimbursement of your construction.
So, and that's accurate, Mr. General Manager?
That's correct.
We're just waiting when those two projects, each as they close is when we can,
As we spend money, we can seek reimbursement. We also have money coming in from Cal Water Service Company,
Hmm.
and that's upon completion of the projects.
good thing is though, is that we get money back in. General fund.
Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you for that. Anybody else have questions? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on. Let's see, we are at the end here. So 6C is in CAT, our monthly financial report.
Mr. Chairman, this item begins on packet page 71. And for this presentation, we have Stephanie Clemente.
Thank you, EJ.
Good afternoon, committee members and directors. I will be presenting on agenda item 6C, monthly financial reports. As required by West Basin Municipal Water District's Administrative Code, staff is required to submit various financial reports to the Board of Directors to keep them appraised on financial conditions and the future needs of the district. So can I please request to go to item 70, page 71? And here, there are 5 items that will be presented, covering the month of August. And I'd like to move forward with our first item, prepared by Stephanie Soto on page 73. Agenda item 6CA, demands list for the period ending August 31st, 2024. And as you can see, these are all our disbursements that were done for the period August 31st, 2024. And it concludes, as we scroll down, it concludes that on page 77, the total disbursements for the month of August is 22 million. Please note that the Metropolitan Water District payment was 12.1 million, which is 54.95% of the total disbursements.
Any questions on that?
No, thank you.
I have no questions. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much. And I request to move forward with our second item on page 78, which is our agenda item 6CB, which is a cash and investment report for a period ending August 31st, 2024. And as you can see on page 79, we have a list of our security types, as well as a total market value security types. At this time, as of August 31st, 2024, our total market value is 48 million. And on the right side, you can see the pie chart, which lists out the various percentages of the security types. Scrolling down, the next page, on page 80, we have the credit quality distribution, comparing month to month. And then page 81 is our maturity distribution for our funds. And then finally, going through page 82 to 93, it gives us our various transactions of the month of August 31st, or 1st through the 31st of 2024. And as well as the glossary starting on page 90, including this report on page 93. Any questions?
Any questions?
No, thank you.
Questions, Director Gray or anybody, Director Deere?
No, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions, I'd like to move over to our water cells. So on packet page 94, we start off at the top with our imported retail. Our FY25 budget is 80,000 acre feet. As of August, our sales are 8,885 acre feet, with a year to date for the 2 months, 17,829. Which we are over our budget, as well as fiscal year 24. Moving down, we have our imported barrier. Our budget for 2025 is 6,050 acre feet. For August, we are at 764 acre fee with a total for the year 1,670, which we are above fiscal year 24 as well as budget. And then moving down to page 95, we have our recycled water. Our FY 25 budget is 33,221 acre feet. For August, we have 2,925 acre feet for recycled water. And the year to date is 5,678, which, as we noted earlier, we are lower here with the recycled water. And then on the bottom, we have a summary of the barrier, refineries, and disinfectant tertiary for the month as well as year to date. And this was actually prepared by Sandra Ruby. Any questions?
Any questions?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. So now I'd like to move on to the page 96, where we just present the director's conference and travel expenses. So total year to date, we have $7,568.76. Annual budget $75,000, which was the remaining for the year is $67,431.24. And finally, concluding with executive management and staff travel expense. Year to date, we've spent $1,953.56. Our annual budget is $101,000, and the remaining balance is $99,046.44. So this concludes the monthly financial report. And we are available for any questions. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Any questions on any of this?
No, thank you.
Dale? Quick question, and it's a little off the cuff, EJ, but maybe you talk about another committee meetings, but remember we were looking at selling that well to WRD.
Yes.
What exactly is the status of that?
They have made the initial payment. WRD was, I believe, holding $350,000 for well repairs. And my understanding was that that work was to be initiated, I believe, towards the end of the summer. They were bringing on a consultant. And as you recall, that $350,000 would be dedicated to those well repairs, and anything unspent would be returned to West Basin Municipal Water District. But we did receive the original 1.15.
Yes.
And so it's still legally, or do we still own it, or have they closed out the transaction?
We have closed out the transaction. They are in control over the site. They have the lease, but let me check as far as making sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. But they are in control of over the property.
Maybe if you could just write a little synopsis to the board, like what the status is, because I don't think we've talked about that in a while. But very good to know. Okay, so with that, we'll move on. Closed session. We have no closed session. Director's comments for future agenda items. Director Williams.
Well, thank you.
Director Deere.
Apologize for being late today. The driver had a dead battery.
We're glad you're here, and your attendance was noted, I believe, right, staff? Perfect. Thank you. And let's see, Director Gregg.
Just thank you to staff and thank you to the committee for considering all the items. So thank you.
Great, thank you very much. And I want to just say as well, thank you, staff. It was a long meeting, a lot of information. We really appreciate it. And the other thing is that, this coming up week from September 21, 27 is United Against Hate Week. And so I know we did a proclamation for that at the last board meeting. Some of our local cities are doing things as we speak, leading up to that. But, EJ, they didn't, or however you plan that, I know you'll put that out as they get closer to the week starting, because it starts Saturday. And with that, our next meeting is scheduled for October 15th. We are adjourned.